Stay up to date with the latest news on Joe Biden, the 46th President of the United States. From his key policy decisions and speeches to his administration's response to global challenges, Biden's actions continue to shape both national and international landscapes. Whether it's his economic plans, healthcare reforms, or foreign policy moves, this update will provide you with the most recent and impactful developments surrounding President Biden. Let's dive into the top stories and what they mean for the future. Today, we'll talk about latest current news on Joe Biden. So before we get started, make sure to hit that like button. Also subscribe to my channel. Imagine waking up to the news that could shift the trajectory of an entire nation. What if I told you the latest updates about President Joe Biden are not only surprising, but also have deep implications for both America and the world? In this video, we're breaking down the top 10 most critical developments regarding Joe Biden. Each point reveals more than just a headline. They show how these events could reshape the future. Stick around until the end. You won't want to miss the most significant update that has everyone talking. Number 10. Let's start with one of the most shocking stories in recent weeks, Joe Biden's surprising announcement regarding the 2024 presidential election. After much speculation, Biden confirmed he will not be running for a second term. This decision has sent shockwaves through the political landscape, creating uncertainty and speculation about who will lead the Democratic Party moving forward. Biden's choice not to seek re-election comes amid growing concerns about his age and health, but it's also a strategic move that could pave the way for new leadership within the party. The implications of this decision are far-reaching. It not only affects the Democratic Party, but also opens up a wide field for potential Republican challengers. Number 9. Speaking of Kamala Harris, Biden's decision has thrust her into the spotlight in a way we haven't seen before. As the current vice president, Harris is now in a position where she could become the Democratic Party's nominee for the 2024 election. Her role in the administration has been a mix of high-profile engagements and quieter, behind-the-scenes work, but now all eyes are on her. The media is already scrutinizing every move she makes, every policy she supports, and every public statement she delivers. Harris' candidacy could represent a historic moment in American politics, as she would be the first woman and the first person of color to be nominated by a major party for the presidency. However, this also comes with its own set of challenges. Harris will need to rally support from a party that is still very much divided on key issues. Number 8. Let's turn our attention to an incident that raised eyebrows around the world, Biden's recent gaffe during a NATO meeting, where he mistakenly referred to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky as President Putin. This slip-up sparked immediate concern about Biden's cognitive abilities and his capacity to handle the intense pressures of the presidency. Critics have seized upon this moment to question his fitness for office, while supporters argue that such mistakes are human and can happen to anyone under stress. The real issue here, however, is not just the slip-up itself, but what it represents in the larger context of Biden's presidency. Moments like this fuel ongoing debates about whether Biden, at 81 years old, is too old to lead the nation effectively. Number 7. Despite these challenges, Biden's administration has been relentless in pursuing its climate change agenda, one of his most ambitious and controversial platforms. Recently, his administration succeeded in passing significant legislation aimed at reducing carbon emissions across various sectors. This legislation marks a major step forward in the fight against climate change and aligns with Biden's campaign promise to make environmental protection a top priority. The new laws focus on increasing renewable energy production, cutting down on fossil fuel usage, and incentivizing businesses to adopt greener practices. Environmental groups have hailed these measures as long overdue, arguing that they will help the United States lead the world in combating climate change. However, critics argue that the costs associated with these changes could harm the economy, particularly in industries that rely heavily on fossil fuels. Number 6. International relations have always been a complex web for any U.S. president, and Biden's handling of the ongoing conflict in Ukraine is no exception. Since the Russian invasion began, Biden has taken a firm stance against Vladimir Putin's aggression, providing military aid to Ukraine and rallying NATO allies to oppose severe sanctions on Russia. This approach has been praised by some as a strong show of support for democracy and international law. However, others argue that Biden's actions have escalated tensions and brought the world closer to a prolonged conflict. The situation in Ukraine remains volatile, with no clear end in sight, and Biden's policies will continue to play a crucial role in shaping the outcome. Number 5. On the domestic front, the U.S. economy remains one of Biden's most significant challenges. Inflation, which has been a persistent issue throughout his presidency, continues to affect the everyday lives of Americans. Biden's administration has implemented several measures aimed at curbing inflation and stabilizing the economy, but results have been mixed. The Federal Reserve's interest rate hikes designed to combat rising prices have led to concerns about a potential recession. Meanwhile, Biden has pushed for increased government spending on infrastructure and social programs as a way to stimulate economic growth. The success or failure of these initiatives will be critical in determining how history views Biden's economic legacy. Number 4, healthcare remains another cornerstone of Biden's policy agenda. Since taking office, Biden has sought to build upon the Affordable Care Act, aiming to expand access to affordable healthcare for millions of Americans. Recently, his administration proposed new measures to lower the cost of prescription drugs, a move that has been met with widespread approval from healthcare advocates. These proposals are part of a broader effort to reduce the financial burden of healthcare on American families and to ensure that everyone has access to the care they need. Number 3, public perception of Biden has been a roller coaster ride since he took office. His approval ratings have fluctuated significantly, influenced by everything from his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic to the situation in Afghanistan. Currently, his approval ratings are in a precarious position, with many Americans expressing dissatisfaction with his leadership. However, Biden's core supporters remain loyal, arguing that he has accomplished significant achievements despite the challenges he's faced. Number 2, one of Biden's primary goals since taking office has been to heal the deep divisions within the country. He has consistently called for unity and bipartisanship, urging Americans to come together despite their differences. However, achieving this goal has proven to be an uphill battle. The nation remains deeply polarized, with political, social, and cultural divides becoming even more pronounced. Number 1, finally, as we look towards the future, the question of Biden's legacy looms large. When historians reflect on his presidency, will they focus on his accomplishments, such as the infrastructure bill and the efforts to combat climate change? Or will his tenure be overshadowed by controversies, missteps, and the challenges that marked his time in office? As Biden prepares to step down, the narrative surrounding his presidency is still being written. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comments section below. Before you go, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.